Pittsburgh Steelers are hoping to put a few lackluster performances in the rearview mirror when they meet Thursday night with the Tennessee Titans at Heinz Field to kick off NFL Week 11 action. Players have become more and more vocal about disliking Thursday night football games, and these two teams have some important quarterback considerations with the quick turnaround. Pittsburgh is favored by 7 points with a total at 43.5. The Tennessee Titans knocked off the Bengals last week to improve to 6-3 straight up and 3-5-1 against the spread. The Titans have won 4 straight, but have only covered in one of those games. The Titans are remarkably average on offense. They only have 5.2 yards per play this season, which is a little bit below the league average of 5.3. Tennessee's passing attack hasn't gotten much done. The Titans rank 25th in adjusted net yards per pass attempt, but make up for it by being one of the better rushing teams in the NFL with 4.4 yards per carry. Marcus Mariota has completed 62.1% of his throws, but only has a 7-6 touchdown interception ratio. The Titans have had more chunk plays than the opposition through the air, but only have 8 passing touchdowns on the season. Getting Delaney Walker back into the mix last week was big, and the threat of Corey Davis should start to open up the field. Tennessee surprisingly has thrown the ball 46 more times than it has run the ball, despite having 2 solid backs in DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. Murray has 4 yards per carry and Henry has 4.4 yards per pop. Mariota's legs have extended some plays with 5.7 yards per carry on 32 attempts. Tennessee ran 90 offensive plays and managed just 24 points and 416 yards on the Bengals last week while holding the ball for over 40 minutes of the game. Tennessee's defense allowed 6.2 yards per play to the lowly Bengals, which was actually one of the team's worst defensive showings this season. The Titans rank tied for 11th in yards per play allowed with just 5.1, so Dick LeBeau's defense is starting to click in Nashville. Tennessee has held opposing offenses to just 3.6 yards per carry and rates in the middle of the pack in adjusted net yards per pass attempt allowed. The Titans would rate better from a points standpoint if they hadn't committed the 5th most defensive penalties in the NFL, but the group is a little bit better than average overall with the help from the ground and pound offensive style. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-2 straight up and 5-4 against the spread this season. They are favored for the 9th time in 10 games and have won 4 straight. The Steelers have failed to cover in 2 of their 3 favorite roles, laying more than a touchdown this season. The Steelers are a hard team to figure out. 4 weeks ago, people were looking at the Steelers as the AFC favorite following their win over Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. The Steelers sit at 7-2 now, with unimpressive wins in their previous 3 games. Pittsburgh narrowly knocked off the Colts with a 20-17 win this past week, and they gave up 482 yards to the Lions the week before. The Steelers are plus 0.7 yards per play this season, so they fit the bill of a team with a good record, but the last couple of weeks have been a struggle. There have been worries about Ben Roethlisberger, who has already expressed his displeasure about playing on a Thursday. Roethlisberger, who has talked about retirement, has a 61.1% completion rate with a 12-10 touchdown interception ratio. Le'Veon Bell only has 3.8 yards per carry and the Steelers only have 3.6 yards per carry as a team, including just 3 rushes of 20 or more yards. The emergence of Juju Smith-Schuster as a big compliment to Antonio Brown has been the best thing to happen to the Steelers over the last few weeks. That will test a Tennessee secondary that hasn't faced too many elite wideouts this season. With a lot of attention going to Brown, Smith-Schuster's contributions have included more touchdowns and more big plays. The Steelers are basically in the middle of the pack with 5.5 yards per play, which is not what we are used to seeing. The Steelers' defense, however, has really stepped it up. Pittsburgh has allowed points on just 26.5% of possessions against, to rank 2nd in the NFL. The Steelers have only allowed 4.8 yards per play against this season. Rebuilding on the fly while aging veterans went off into retirement was the right play for the Steelers, who have remained competitive while turning over a large chunk of the roster. Pittsburgh is 2nd in adjusted net yards per pass attempt allowed and 3rd in sack percentage. The concern here in this spot is that the Steelers have allowed 4.2 yards per carry, and the Titans want to move the ball on the ground more than through the air. Grab a reasonably juiced 7 wherever you can find one. The Steelers aren't thrilled about playing on Thursday with some of their older players. With a 3-game cushion in the AFC North, we may not get the best of efforts from the Steelers. Also, Tennessee defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau was on the Pittsburgh staff as a defensive coordinator from 2004 to 2014, so he knows a few things about the personnel on this roster and about the coaching plans of Mike Tomlin and Todd Haley. Tennessee should be plenty prepared here, even with the short week, so our pick and prediction will be for the Tennessee Titans at +7. For our pick and prediction on this game and every other game this week, and a wealth of free stats and information, check out bangthebook.com.